To kick things off is a cybersecurity company with a lot in the pipeline. Let's welcome CEO Rick Jordan of soon-to-be Frequency Holdings, ticker YCRM. Let's get into it.
What's shaking? You've heard the ticker, YCRM. Maybe even bought it for the meme. Maybe you saw Youngling's ice cream and thought, what the hell? But this isn't about nostalgia. It's about signal. The signal beneath the static. The signal that says something real is happening here. I'm Rick Jordan, CEO of Frequency Holdings and Reach Out and Trustless, and I want to tell you what we're really building. Because this isn't a marketing moment, this is a call to alignment. Not with hype, not with a pump, with real strategy, real execution, and a real roadmap. If you've been on the outside looking in, if you've seen the filings, heard the chatter, watched the price, but still haven't felt the heartbeat of what's happening here, this message is for you today. So let's cut through the noise. Let's go to the frequency. Where did this even come from, that frequency moments? See, I was 12 years old when I built my first computer. Not because I had to, but because I needed to understand what was going on. It wasn't about getting online, truly, because back then the only thing that we really had was AOL. Seriously, the original stuff. It was about understanding what was behind the screen, what made things move, what made data come alive, and really the outcome all this did for everybody. So fast forward a few years, and I'm still with that same family friend that taught me how to build computers. I'm in his car, I'm looking up, and I see a cell phone tower. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, oh, that's a cell tower. And he starts teaching me all about frequencies, high band, low band, how low frequencies travel further and they penetrate deep, they endure. High frequencies move fast, they're nimble, real time. See, that idea never left me. And then I started seeing this concept everywhere in human behavior, in leadership, in the markets, in capital. Some signals are designed to be heard now, some signals are designed to last. And the best ones, they do both. You build them deep and you push them fast. That's what this is. That's what I'm building. That's what frequency is all about. I've spent my entire life doing exactly that, whether it's in business or tech, or even in church and music, tuning into the signal for what the world is waiting for. Now, let's talk about where this began, okay? Not the surface story, the truth. With YCRM, took over a legacy ticker with baggage. Youngling's Ice Cream. Yeah, that's right, the 100-year-old company that came into existence because of prohibition when the beer arm had to stop producing beer. A name with history. To some, that was actually funny, right? To some, it was kind of confusing. To others, a red flag. Even to me, I was signing things for so long, still am, as the CEO of an ice cream company. To me, though, it was still signal. Not of what we were, but of what we could become. Most wouldn't have touched it. Seriously, a sleepy consumer brand that already had a failed reverse merger, changed names a few times, a low float, low engagement, no buzz. But see, I don't chase buzz. I build signal. I inherited more than a name. I inherited resistance, old structures, old patterns, old perceptions, old shareholders. But friction, that's how fire starts. So I leaned in. Had plenty of chances to pull the escape hatch, but I leaned in. See, I didn't come from private equity. I didn't have a SPAC or $1 billion hedge fund. What I had was conviction, clarity, and resilience. So day by day, through this grueling process, started removing the noise. Cleaned up the financial statements. Filed our filings. Going through bad acquisitions at the time. Eliminated debt. Built cash flow. Not for the applause, believe me, because there's next to none. But I did it for the mission. I didn't just talk transformation, I executed it, and you can see that. From legacy to leverage, from retail confusion to institutional foundation. And I did it while keeping the freaking lights on. Not just metaphorically, I'm talking literally payroll, vendors, SEC, auditors, customers, all while laying the groundwork for what's next. I hate the word pivot, but you know what? Maybe it fits. Here's the hard truth. The MSP model is broken. That's how Reach Out started 15 years ago when I founded it as an MSP. But you know what? Today, there's thousands, actually hundreds of thousands of regional providers. They're slow, outdated, vulnerable, freaking out, trying to keep up with cybersecurity because it's moving so freaking fast. I see it on the front lines. Clients getting breached, support tickets getting lost, technicians getting overwhelmed. And every month, there's another newsletter that comes out, right, that's pretending everything was okay. It's not. This industry has not been okay for a long time. So I needed to kill the traditional MSP model. Even last year, our growth by acquisition, I walked away from the slow, large acquisition roll-up model, burned it down to build what came next. So we launched Reach Out, cybersecurity first, AI integrated, cloud native, process automated. Then I layered in our structure, a holding company to behave like Alphabet right at the top with Frequency Holdings. Clean, scalable, capital aware. I didn't just pivot, I upgraded the operating system. Embedded AI into every layer, help desk automation, customer sentiment tracking, real-time asset reporting, behavioral analytics for end users. The result was speed, visibility, retention, and most importantly, margin, the real kind. Here's where we are right now. We've gotten through all of our filings. We're on normal cycles. I did not bail. I stuck around. Eliminated over $8 million in liabilities. Retained ownership. I did what startups typically say is impossible. Became profitable, gross margin, before raising institutional money. I did that before we even took over the ticker YCRM. And now renamed the entire parent company to Frequency Holdings. Not just to sound cooler, to reflect the truth. This is not just a tech company. This is a capital-first platform. So let me break it down. Reach Out, our execution engine, cybersecurity, IT, compliance readiness, national scale with local deployments, growing small MSPs into profitable monsters. Now, I said I ditched the large acquisition model. We're doing tight, nimble acquisitions now. Not $5 million acquisitions, but $500K to $2 million. These are MSPs that can be scaled 2 to 5x in a matter of 12 to 24 months into profit monsters. We can execute faster, integrate cleaner, and build higher. Now, trustless, it's our sovereign data layer. Decentralized identity built on the blockchain with quantum level encryption, digital verification in a zero trust world. It's designed for literally everybody on the face of this planet, but even more importantly, to companies just like Reach Out, to MSPs. We can implement it there, take it to market fast when our funding round is complete, and then scale it beyond that into other industry verticals, and they're pretty much endless. Media, our reach amplifier. If you've never looked at my podcast, All In with Rick Jordan, it's top 2% of the world, and I say that with such humility because I've never taken on sponsors, although I might start to look for some now. I've never actually promoted it in any kind of ads or anything like that. It's just been clean signal for those who wanted to tune in. And even with that, I'm announcing here today that All In with Rick Jordan is going to be rebranded as Frequency. Even with my social following, there's over 2 million impressions every single month. How's that for a good reach for a public company? This is human-led investor alignment. You put it all together, it's revenue plus media plus compliance plus sovereignty. And it's working. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I don't see some things and hide behind anything, which means I'm not going to sugarcoat things either. Now, I took in a convertible note, a couple of them, about 18 months ago when we reverse merged and we took over the ticker YCRM. It did serve a purpose at the time. It bridged the transformation. But now, everybody can see that those shares are hitting the market. And it's applying pressure. It's limiting liquidity, and it's creating some fear and hesitation. I get that. Retail can see red candles, institutions are hesitating, and momentum, it stalls. I've had more than a dozen real funds tell me, Rick, we love what you're doing. We just want to wait. And I get it. I understand where they're coming from, but you know what? I'm not waiting. That's not what I do. Because while they watch the price, we're watching contracts get signed, cash hitting accounts, and more talent coming aboard. See, the market hasn't caught up to us yet, but it will. Once this pressure lifts, this company is going to reprice like a freaking slingshot. So come with me here. Let's zoom out for a second, okay? Here's what's next. Ticker change. We talked about that for a while now because we filed our change with FINRA on February 5th. Here we are in the middle of June already, right? I'm hoping this is going to be soon. It looks like we're getting close to the end. We've already chosen the name Frequency Holdings, changed it at the state level. We're waiting on FINRA to approve the name change and the ticker, which our primary choice, I'll tell you, is FRQN. Now, AI-driven lead gen. This launches in about a week and a half. This is really cool. It's expanding nationwide and going live in 3 cities right out of the gates. It's incredible because this is going to be the engine that's going to be pumped in to our smaller acquisitions and as we continue to go forward with reach outs. We're building 7-figure pipelines for acquisitions since the beginning of Q2. We're going to find these acquisitions, and even more importantly, we're going to execute on organic sales once we acquire these acquisitions and even within the existing ecosystem right now. Trustless. We've talked about this. You can find podcasts about this where I'm interviewed. It's preparing still for early stage institutional engagements. This is something that is such an incredible concept that most people are saying, I don't want to get on board in such a small way. I want to get on board in a big way, just like Frequency is securing a large stake in Trustless. Now, something I gave away a little bit ago, and probably about a week ago in a video, is that we're looking to move our headquarters. Right now, we're based in Chicago in the suburbs. We're actually domiciled, Frequency Holding is domiciled in Nevada. We're looking at moving and exploring to Miami, Florida. We're considering this relocation for capital access and really the tech ecosystem, and most importantly, uplisting prep. Miami is where it's at today. For shareholder base, for audit structure, for equity architecture that's already in motion. Now, this isn't a wish list, it's a map, one that we're following with precision. See, look, this isn't my first company. It's not, especially not my first downturn, and it's most definitely not my first rebuild. But this one, it's different. I founded Reach Out 15 years ago, and I love it because it's built for both the now and the next. And that's where Frequency sits now as well. Because I've made mistakes before, but I learn, I rebuild, and this time I build it clean, and then I build it lean. So no overpromising, no toxicity, no vaporware, just execution, cash flow, conviction, and resilience. I didn't build this to exit, guys. I built this to compound. This isn't something to where I'm looking to make a great buck and then move on. Nothing that's converting right now is anything of mine. Nothing. I have held to absolutely everything that I have and invested millions of my own into this. You can see that in the filings. So if you're an investor looking for a short-term pop, come on, look elsewhere. I don't want you here. But if you're looking for a real company led by a real person with real human beings behind it all, executing a real strategy in the tech space with leading IP, welcome home. So you've heard the story, you've seen the filings, you've seen me all around media, maybe you even felt the signal for a while now. If this moves something you do today, if you're done with noise, then follow the frequency. Because this is just getting rolling. Now, a good friend of mine who also sits on the board, Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, has recorded a video for everyone. So let's take a look at this.
Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Kevin Harrington, and I'm an original shark from the hit television show Shark Tank. But today, I want to tell you about my friend. And this is a great story. A few years ago, a gentleman named Rick Jordan approached me with a bold proposition, and he wanted to work together on his business. Business was called Reach Out Technology and wanted to go public. Now, at first, I turned him down. I'm busy and got a lot of things going on, but there was something about Rick that I really enjoyed and said, you know what, let's stay in touch. So you see, Rick not only has raw talent, but he's very determined. He's a leader, and he's got a proven track record in business and great network. And let me tell you what I really love about Rick. He's got following at the highest circles in business, and everything he told me would happen, happened. The revenue, the market, the events in his industry. And he just has this ability to put the right pieces together at the right time. And Rick is definitely a man of his word, and I've seen him in action. So I know that Rick knows how to scale. He has scaled, he's done it, and even more, he's a man of integrity, a great human, and a very good friend. So I just want to say, over the years, yeah, I've done quite a few deals and many deals on Shark Tank, but some of these deals fell through because I didn't have the time to fully vet the entrepreneurs. And with Rick, I've seen firsthand the results, and he's delivering, and he continues to deliver. So I just want to say that, this is awesome, and mentorship has changed my life, and it's the secret ingredient that can take your business to new heights. And I've seen Rick use mentorship as a valuable tool in his own life, and he knows the power of learning from others who've walked the path before him. So remember, I'm going to leave you with this thought: success leaves clues, and Rick has a key to unlocking your full potential. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
And I tell you, he has been an incredible mentor to me, especially guiding us through last year with the company. He's heavily involved. I went down and actually saw him for lunch. He lives in Florida, maybe another reason why we're looking at moving there. Just a little bit ago, about a month ago, talked strategy for this coming year, and we've got a lot of things that are up our sleeves. We've got some cool stuff that I'm hoping to announce soon as well. As soon as we get our name changed, there's going to be a bunch of things that we've been stacking up, because while things have been slowly chugging along with FINRA, I haven't been sleeping. What I've been doing is building. Now, to the entire BFC community, thank you for hanging out with me today. BFC, thank you for inviting me to come on and present to everybody. I'm going to leave you with this, which is a video about my origin story. And you know what? If you want to build with me, come along for the ride. There's a lot of people in this world that in their lives that don't have somebody to protect them, to stand up for them, to step in their place because they can't do something themselves. And that's where I feel like I've been put into this amazing position to where I can fight for the disadvantaged and those taken advantage of. For my country, for my clients, and my family. There needs to be a focus out there to help other people in business, in life, and in tech. That's what drives me in my core, is to help anybody else that's around me, especially those that are disadvantaged or those that are taken advantage of. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago with my mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister. A lot of fun memories there. I mean, just 2-car garage. Always had to share a bedroom with my brother. That was always fun. I do remember that my parents worked a lot, and they were really just hustling and trying to go after things. And then when my brother and sister were born, everything just shifted. My mom stayed at home, and I saw my dad really just trying to make ends meet, and seeing them struggle like that was something I never wanted to have to deal with. I played baseball for 9 years. That was the first thing that I really played consistently, to where I really learned what it meant to be part of a team. My dad was a musician to his core. He had a degree in music. That was his thing. He played in bands all over the place, played in clubs. He was a huge influence on me in music. He led bands in church. I started playing drums in church when I was just 10 years old with him leading the band. It was a lot of fun. And then I took up guitar because I saw him playing guitar in church. And then guitar ended up being one of my best instruments, and it's the most fun for me too. I remember my mom had gone out to be with my dad, who was airlifted to the University of Iowa Hospital from Chicago. He had a bone marrow transplant from his leukemia. He spiked a fever. And I remember at church when I was getting ready to play drums that morning, the church secretary came and got me and said, "Your mom's on the phone." I knew what the call was. He's on his last hours. So I picked up the phone and, "Hey, Mom." So she tells me he's not doing good. And she asked me, "Do you want to come out and see him?" And I was 16. I asked a question back. I said, would he even know that I'm there? And there was this pause on the phone. And she goes, no, just in a super shaky, low voice. I said, then I don't see a point then. Then when he actually passed and my mom and my uncle and my aunt just showed up at my house, and as soon as they walked in, I'm like, all right, it happened. Then in this few seconds when I walked out the door of my house to where I just wanted to run away from everything, until I saw my uncle standing there. I really feel that I was just going to take off in that moment, because all this responsibility started to come down upon me, and I had next to no control over it. He grabbed me, put his arms around me, and just hugged me. And even just that hug is all I needed in that moment to be like, you know what? I'm here for you, but I also know that you got this. At that point in time, it was like an immediate shift from being a kid into being a man. I went into this mode of, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to make sure that my brother and sister are okay? What do I need to do to make sure that my mom's okay? Because of that, because of my uncle, I don't run away from anything in life now. When my dad passed, my mom, it was just a big, huge hole in her life. Still during that time, I mean, she did what she could to provide for us. She still worked full time. What I did was I worked full time. I went to school. I got my brother and sister up in the morning because my mom was already at work. I would make sure they'd be fed, dressed, just making sure that my brother and sister were taken care of. And so I remember my mom was only making around $7 an hour. That's it. At that point in time, it was like an immediate shift in my life. I just really, really wanted to work. So I started at McDonald's. I was the fastest freaking drive-through order taker that ever existed at that place. After McDonald's, I worked in a warehouse. But 6 months after being there, they knew my background and said, hey, you know, this guy's not just somebody that can pack boxes. He's somebody that could actually maybe do some of the technical stuff too. That's where I cut my teeth in enterprise systems and really getting into cybersecurity, because I started to find a lot of flaws in their security measures, and I would be the one to solve them. Over the course of years, I never saw myself as being stuck in one place. It was always just trying to keep moving on towards the next bigger, better thing, like climbing that corporate ladder, and I did it. I love technology. The .com era was taken off, and I said, I'm doing this on my own, and I became an independent technology consultant. I did that for 3 years, and then I launched Reach Out Technology. Cybersecurity and technology is one of the best ways that I'm able to help anybody else that's around me, especially those that are disadvantaged or those that are taken advantage of.
Here with us, Rick Jordan.
Rick Jordan.
Rick Jordan.
Author of Situational Ethics.
My man, Rick Jordan. Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
My book is Situational Ethics. It's all true stories from my life about how I have seen individuals being taken advantage of, and how somebody, and it's usually money, will cross over to the dark side and do something at the expense of another person to benefit themselves.
What's shaking? Welcome to the All In Podcast. Hey, I'm Rick Jordan.
My podcast, All In with Rick Jordan, was started because there needs to be a focus out there to help other people in business, in life, and in tech. It's to help other people in my industry, and it's to help people just general in life, entrepreneurs or people just trying to get to the next place in their journey. I started a mastermind for other managed service providers, those in the IT space, in cybersecurity, because the only reason I am where I am today is because of the mentors that I've had along the way. You always need someone to give you new ideas and guide you when you can't break through that next plateau, that next threshold, that next milestone in business or in life. Being an entrepreneur for me is never going to end. Whether it's what I'm doing right now, I doubt it's going to be the same thing I'm doing 5 years from now, because I always have to be creating. That's what I'm known for. I am the All-In CEO. I am Rick Jordan, and I approve this message.